Are you adding enough of the wow factor to your patient's journey in your private practice? If it's been a while since you thought about this, now is a good time. Remember that private practice is all about experience and it shouldn't be left to chance. Ask yourself, is this just about what's going on in the consultation room or is there more to it? And if you've ever been a patient yourself in private practice, was it a beautiful concierge process or did it leave you feeling a little bit I'm Dr. Cass Spencer-Smith at Private Practice Ninja, and in this video we're going to be talking about top tips for putting in the wow factor to your patient journey. Tip number 1 is to take time to map out your patient journey, and that starts at the beginning, right? The time that the patient first reaches out to you to book an appointment. So how does that happen? Are they referred by a colleague? If so, have you made it super easy for the colleague to get it right? In other words, have they been given the correct email address for your MedSec or a phone number to ring? And patients will also find you via your online presence. So if your website was built so long ago, it looks like it was written in DOS 2.0, it's time for an upgrade. Think about it. This is your representation online. Does it live up to the standards you would expect it to? Does it represent you? Do you have website shame? It's very, very important that when the patient lands on the website, they read stuff that makes them realise that you get them and you understand that their problem, be it long COVID, a sore knee, whatever, is distressing for them. They want to know that you're going to take care of all of them, not just their subspine impingement problem. Make sure you've got up-to-date photography. For goodness sake, get it professionally done. And go the extra mile. Put video on your website, on your homepage, your about page, your services or how I can help you pages. That way you've already started the know, like and trust feeling because the patient thinks they've kind of met you. Tip number 2 is to reduce the admin bureaucracy the patient feels. Now, we can't control this all. If you've ever worked in a private hospital, there'll always be some of those registration forms, right? But if you can make the booking process as slick as possible with as minimal replication of details, you're going to nail it. So, can your patients book via an online link? And is it really clearly signposted which appointment type they should be booking? Are they easily going to recognise that they should be booking into this clinic location rather than that clinic location? And very importantly, if you have a MedSec who's handling those calls and referrals, make sure that you're not overburdening him or her with unnecessary tasks that should be outsourced. So if your practice is getting busy, your MedSec should not be doing your typing, that should be outsourced. They should simply be taking care of the patients and looking after the practicalities of booking appointments, theatre time, etc. They can't answer the phone if they're busy sorting out crap. Tip number 3 is make the geography easy for the patient. It's okay for you, you know where you work, but it's not always obvious for the patient. I work at HCA at the Shard, and it's a piece of the Shard on the corner of the Shard, but it doesn't have the same entrance as the Shard. And you can bet your bottom dollar that every now and then we'll lose a patient who wanders up into the Shard or goes to Guy's and Tommy's across the road. So what's the fix if you're experiencing this kind of problem? Well, make it super easy. Do a dummies guide of how to get to the clinic. So for example, if you're exiting the Jubilee line, here's a photo, kind of almost map, Hansel and Gretel dropping them along the way so they know exactly to turn left here and then it's straight ahead. Or better still, why not record a little video? Here I am coming up out of the Jubilee line. I'm going to make a right here. We're not going to go to Guy's and Tommy's across the road, but turn left and there's the entrance. Oh, and here's Mike on the reception desk. Making a little video is a great way to showcase your lovely surroundings, and it means the clinic runs on time. Number 4 is don't leave patients to their own devices. Yes, we're taught it's all about patient choice and don't be paternal in medicine. Patients need hand-holding through this process. A good example of this is if you send a patient for an MRI, how do you do that? Are you making a note for your MedSec to book it in and then follow them and make sure it's happened and then brought them back the moment that the scan has been done? Or are you going to let that patient wander off imagining that you're going to somehow contact them, even though in the email it said for them to contact you, and 3 weeks later they send you a narky message saying, "Hi, when's my follow-up appointment?" And the care of the patient doesn't end with just your care. If you're referring them on to somebody, make sure that's a frictionless process. So I like to email the patient and the referring medsec, as it were, together. And in that email, I will say, "Dear Mrs. Lovely Medsec of Mr. Lovely Person, wouldn't it be great if you could kind of reach out to this person and book them into the clinic? I'll be sending some correspondence. Here are their contact details." Equally, if there's imaging that's done at one facility that won't readily be available at the other facility, make sure that you liaise so that it's ported over, because there's nothing worse than a patient turning up, for example, to a consultation with a surgeon and the surgeon says, "We haven't got any imaging," because it makes you look like a bit of an idiot. And the final thing about referring to colleagues, if you're sending a patient to somebody who's maybe a little bit new to you, or if you knew there was a lot riding on that consultation, why not simply email the patient or even give them a ring afterwards and say, "How did it go?" Tip number 5 is give patients enough time. When patients come to clinic, they kind of think they're buying a slot of your time and they want all of it. So even if you're able to make a killer diagnosis of myasthenia gravis in 2 minutes flat, spend time with the patient. Make them feel not rushed. Answer all those irritating questions they may have brought from Dr. Google. And a particular word to you surgeons who love to cram a follow-up into 10 minutes, it's a horrible way to be treated as a patient. I can't remember the last time a patient said to me, "It was amazing, I was in and out in 5 minutes flat." And my final tip is about smartening up and showing up. Let's face it, our practice rooms get full of people and bodies throughout the day. So if your bin is overflowing with used couch roll, the kind of liners of the couch roll, and the room is more or less than a little bit fresh because of Tommy the teenager who was in half an hour ago, take a moment or two to tidy up. We're all used to cleaning rooms now since COVID, so make use of that handy can of air freshener. Buff open the window, and whilst you're at it, smarten yourself up. Nothing looks worse than you having a slightly sweaty forehead, armpit patches because you dashed over from your NHS frazzled fracture clinic. You've got breath like a dead cat, and here you are showing up supposedly looking luxe. Okay, it doesn't work. Give yourself enough time if you have to transition between clinics. And finally, every patient that comes in the door deserves a bit of razzle-dazzle. Slap a smile on your face, give yourself a bit of energy and show up for them each and every time, no matter how tired you are. I'm Dr. Cass Spencer-Smith at Private Practice Ninja, and if you'd like to know more about how to grow your private practice, why not consider joining the Private Practice Ninja Academy? I'll see you next time.